What's up, guys? How's it going? Appreciate some of y'all waiting in the lobby already. Thanks for hitting the like on the way in. Thanks to any new subscribers to the channel, helping us grow, helping us get closer to 6K subscribers. I don't think we're going to get there by the end of the year, but hey, every little bit of support helps us shine light through the darkness of this shadow ban. I appreciate everybody's support to the channel. Let me get the blue castle up here. Once again, always grateful. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a pro trader, and I'll never tell you what to do. I am always wrong, but the Blue Foundation is always right. This is the worst show with the best community, and we definitely got the best community joining us today. Shout out to you, Xloyd, jumping on in. Let me see who else we got in the chat. El Prey. Dude, El Prey showing up. Silver Days, man, where you at? Silver Days, where you at? El Prey showing you up, dude. He's the first one showing up every time now. What's going on, Silver Days? No, I'm just kidding, man. Appreciate everybody here. Good afternoon, G. What's up, Blue Foundation? Let's go. X Lloyd in the house. What's up, man? Research the risk away. There we go. G doing G things. I'll be back home in Long Beach this weekend, G. Gonna be rainy. Can't wait. Dude, hopefully we can get some freaking rain, man. It's supposed to rain tomorrow on Thursday, man. But hey, be careful what you wish for. Let's just hope it's not like, severe rain that like freaking causes damage to everything. We just need some casual rain, right? Enough freaking disasters happening. Enough of this type of stuff going on in Los Angeles, right? I'm getting worried about we're almost in year 2 or the, 1 year anniversary of the fires that happened. And I'm like, dang, dude, have we prepared enough? Are we ready for these winds again? Because the Santa Anas are going to come, and they were the craziest they ever were last year. Are we going to be ready for that type of stuff again? I'm interested to see what's going to be going down here, man, because, yeah, just hopefully that all this stuff is just over with, but we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe 2012 is in 2026, actually. Maybe the Mayan calendar was a little bit, doesn't go with the Gregorian calendar. What's up, Fishing with Camo Joe? Shout out to you. Guys, thanks for hitting the like on the way in. Thanks to the 4 people jumping on in. A little bit earlier than 3:30 p.m. PST, but we got some things to do at the end of this hour, so we're going to be jumping in and, talking about some deep reds. Got a good page of deep reds for you, or 2 pages of deep reds for you. We got 1 page, 2 page. Some good deep reds to look over, without a doubt. Guys, I've also been, cryptos that I've been, trying to research, or, kind of narratives I've been trying to research for recently. It's this deep red list isn't really about those the research I've been doing, but I'm getting prepared for outages, right? Any blackouts, outages, weather freaking stuff that happens in an area that causes a blackout, right? They have to shut it down for the reset to happen. It's going to be an absolute necessity, right? There's just no way you can just easily migrate over to the new system. It's just not going to be like that. Hey, I do speak with absolutes sometimes, and I'm a victim of that. I'm a hypocrite. I know a Sith only speaks in absolutes, right? It's the word, words of the Jedi. But it's just feeling like they're going to have to shut off the old system, and then when they turn it back on, people won't even know a difference. But we're on the new system now. We're on the new rails. It's all digital rails, right? Cash will no longer be relevant. The base Patsy, what's up, man? Pull back on the great one. What's up? What do we mean? Pull back on the great one. Just give me some clarification there, base Patsy. I think it's kind of flying over my head what you're saying right there. But yeah, we'll see. You mean pull back on the? Yeah, just let me see if I think I just misinterpreted what you're saying there. TIBBIR retraced. Oh, nice. Okay, the pullback on the great one. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, TIBBIR now retracing, dude. Anytime this is like on a red day, anytime like TIBBIR has like a red 24 hours, that's pretty good idea to be just chipping away a little bit, because sometimes it just bounces back in the next 24 hours. It's kind of fun to swing trade if you're that type of person, but I know TIBBIR Patsy over here is holding for the long term. He's not playing, swing trades. He's just accumulating as much as he can before the new Bitcoin of the X402 era begins, right? Gotta love it. Dude, how is it still hot? How is it still hot? It's a rainy day. It's so freaking crazy. It's hilarious. All right, you're going to see some skin, unfortunately. Or not. Never mind. Okay. How is it this hot? It makes no freaking sense. Like my car is just, I got to open some windows or something. I need to get some air in here. How is it still hot, man? How does it still feel like summer even though we got gray clouds? I got to move up north, man. I got to go move to Tibet, dude. I got to go move to Tibet. I got to get out of the United States, man. They're freaking trying to do some weird ass stuff down here. That is for sure. We need to get out of here. Hey, boss. We got green on XPX and Bitcoin is down. And with Christine Lagarde coming to the BIS, do we see some bullish momentum? I mean, I don't know if, everything is connected there with the XPX momentum, but it is nice to see XPX. It seems, XPX is still like, okay, so for example, XPX broke out of a very long-term trend line, right? But we still got some overhead resistances, right? But so far, it seems like it has broken out of a very long-term trend line, a multi-year trend line, right? So we got a nice little move on up, right? When we got that move from what? In like a span of a couple of months, the move from like 0001 up to 0008. I mean, fantastic. Right? Then we got our retracement. We came back down more than 50%. I'm thinking we're going to go 70% down and maybe see 0003 just one more time, right? It'll probably wick on up right after it touches it. But yeah, I'm thinking we can see maybe 0003 for XPX. I'm just kind of hoping. I'm like, please give me some more. I'm like getting greedy with it. I'm like, please just give me some more cheap XPX. I mean, it's pretty cheap already, if this thing is going to be a powerhouse, we'll see. Right? But I just like investing coffee money in and being able to just maximize those returns. Right? But, it's a nice bull flag formation that it's got going on there. We may be continuing on up, right? I don't want to get too excited about it because this freaking crypto has definitely taken us on a hell of a roller coaster, but we loved it in those deep reds, right? Those low end 0001, 0002. We had a stream over the summer that dude, this may be the only time we ever see this freaking crypto at 0001, right? And it was like 000182, 000192 or something like that, right? Watching RSR. Yeah, RSR reserve rights for sure. I think we have it on the list. Let me see if we do. Yeah. You got ahead of us there, Base Patsy. You got ahead of us there. What's up, D Curry? Dude, D Curry, you've been supporting freaking day in, stream out. Here's a blue wrench, my man. Welcome. But Jay Pandya, I appreciate the question on XPX there. We're still in Mercury retrograde from the 9th up to the 29th. So we can get some bullish news, but I don't know if that necessarily means bullishness, right? Usually retrograde means delays or things being held back, right? Kind of setting the foundation for things, but not necessarily any releases happening. But, hey, that's just astrology. Anything could be freaking happening, right? It's just a wacky period of time between the 9th and 29th. What if the ISO 20022 launch date and November 22nd isn't a freaking, dud, right? It almost feels like a majority of people are thinking it is, right? Are thinking it is. So what if the opposite happens, right? What if the ISO 20022 thing, what if we get the somebody was poking, what if in within the same week, right, before ISO 20022 launch, we end up getting the Clarity Act, right? We get freaking regulatory clarity, and then bam, freaking 5 days or 6 days later, we're on ISO 20022 and they leave the world behind, right? That could be a case. A lot of people are projecting we're going to have a wonderful Christmas, that the bull cycle will begin in December, right? The real bull cycle. Some people are saying, oh, the bull cycle's already begun. You're just not in on those cryptos, G. Right? We still got to break past a lot of historical resistance for some of these cryptos. The ones that we think are running and starting a bull cycle, right? If they are, they still got a lot of overhead resistances to cover. They still got their all-time highs to cover and break, right? Not all these cryptos are going to break all-time highs at the same time, right? That's not how a bull cycle goes. You're going to have some that lead the way. They start breaking their all-time highs, and then you got the laggards that start popping off, right? While everybody chases the pumps of the ones that are creating new all-time highs, bam, that's when they start getting the laggards, the deep reds, and others to start going. BSL is also going to melt. Dude, yeah, BSL is going to be awesome. Thanks, Social. Hedera is going to melt faces. HBAR is going to absolutely melt faces. I mean, people are underestimating, people are like, it's funny how, in particular with the XRP community, because, they've gone through so much FUD, right? They've just gone through so much FUD with XRP that when they saw the HBAR ETF, they're just like, what the hell, man? What the hell, man? But dude, Ripple was gaga, right? Freaking Brad Garlinghouse. Remember the excitement that he had when he had that interview with Lehman Beard, right? And they were talking about collaborating. And he, like, dude, Lehman Beard is just like a chill dude. I mean, this guy was in the army, right? So he's just like calm, cool, and collected. And then Brad Garlinghouse is like, yeah, we're going to be working together, right? Dude, Hedera is a freaking powerhouse in the making, man. And, XRP, Hedera, Algorand, and ADA are leading the way of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance, right, for being the founders. All of them happen to be ISO 20022 compliant. Isn't that nice? You also have Oasis Protocol. The Blue Rose is up at 2 cents right now. Hopefully it continues to rise on up. We're staking our blue roses, earning passive roses as we speak, right? We make our cryptos work for us while we're living and breathing. That's the way of the future, right? That's the way of the future, right? So Blue Roses, part of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance. Bank Social, part of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance. DAG, part of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance. Bullishness for DAG despite the bear cycle, right? Despite this bearishness, DAG getting some Kraken liquidity now, right? But of course, DAG is just freaking, what, a penny, 2 pennies? The poor old XRP community, he has a fiduciary responsibility to Ripple stockholders to pump XRP. There we go. But, I think, the funny thing is like XRP community wants to and that's, it's all good. XRP is, I think, is still going to be an amazing freaking crypto, but I've just never been that it's going to be the one, there's one to rule them all, right? Just never, it's going to be a multi-chain future. XRP needs Zahao and Evernode to be a full stack micrologic economy, right? Micro data economy, micro payment economy, right? So XRP needs others. XRP needs the Decentralized Recovery Alliance. XRP needs to collaborate with Hedera, Algorand, and ADA to create a freaking full-on decentralized recovery stack. Each one of them does their specific role in this, stack, right? That doesn't mean let's not invest in XRP. I'm just trying to, bring a little bit more of like a, what's it called? Give me a sec. I'm just trying to bring a little bit more perspective, right? I'm just trying to bring a little bit more of like, this is a multi-chain future. This dragon doesn't have one head. It's a Cerberus, dude. It has multiple heads. You cut one head off the dragon, the others are still running while that other one's growing back. And then you cut another head off. Well, too bad the one you just cut off has 2 heads now, right? Like, this is a global web of trust, right? There's going to be no way out of being on chain. Once we're on chain, everything's on chain, and the naughty or nice list begins, right? Where you start getting, micro data, or given your micro data of your living habits, your purchase habits, all of it's going to be on chain. AI is going to be able to decipher what you should do next or suggest to you what you should do next. And if you don't do those things, then you're not going to get this loan. You're not going to get this car. You're not going to get this house. You're not going to get these items. You're not going to get this insurance plan. You're not going to get this health plan, right? It's just the world. I mean, hey, it's what we asked for. It's what humans asked for, man. We want AI. We want the convenience. We want all this, to feed all our data to it so it can help us live a better life, right? Then we're going to get it. We're going to get it, right? We're going to have AI freaking androids, right? You're going to have AI agents everywhere doing things, digital twins, right? You're going to have machines all over. You're going to wear machine glasses. You're going to put shit on your temples, right? You're going to cover your mouth up with stuff. You're going to put your freaking, we're going to make the air unfit to breathe, apparently, right? You're going to have VR goggles and headsets, right? Just batteries close to your frontal lobes, just continuing to have dependency on AI to freaking limit our imagination, limit our critical thinking, right? Hey, this is what we asked for, right? At least we're going to own the lifeblood of these freaking things so we don't have to resort to those means to make drops, because that's what everybody's going to be, a digital creator in the future. It does, whether you're a business, bank, anything, you're going to be a digital creator, right? What does that mean? Everything you do is going to be digital. You're going to be getting ubiquitous payments for your data, sharing your data, right? You're going to be getting payments coming your way for just living, right? And payments will be going out, right? Payments will also be going out for just living, right? Also, don't forget about the sleeping giant SHX. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, we've talked, I stopped talking about cryptos once they go from like, our deep reds, right? That's just how we are. Like, I understand SHX, dude. I got blue bricks. I got blue castle, right? We've set this foundation at triple zeros, right? Now we just need it to just keep doing what it's doing. You're already a Nacha, payment provider for the ISO 20022 experience, right? Just keep doing what you're doing, right? Just keep building your freaking blue castle. That's all I'm asking for SHX, right? HODL in long term. We'll see where it takes us, and I'll celebrate with y'all when we start getting to 5 cents for sure. Once we start hitting the 5-cent range, that means we're starting to freaking bubble on up into new territory here, right? It went from triple zeros to 3 cents, retraced back down to what? 003, 008, and then now hanging around a penny, right? We want to see those 5-cent SHX. We want to see the 10-cent SHX, right? We'll be here to, celebrate with y'all on those, milestones, right, as we get there. But yeah, can't forget about SHX, of course. Can't forget about SHX. We definitely know about that project. I mean, we have a video that's going to probably be more famous than the guys celebrating Bitcoin hitting $100, right? We celebrated SHX hitting 0008. We celebrated SHX hitting 0008, and we got a video of that, right? Friends, did you manage to buy the ALX 2049 token during the pre-sale? Joshua, I did not, unfortunately. Can this thing survive power outages? Will it still run and be online when everything is offline? This is how the 99% of cryptos are going to go away. If your cryptos can't provide decentralized recovery or, get back and online without missing any blocks, without missing a thing after the shutdown, right? And things go back on, we're going to find out which blockchains are really the real ones and which ones are freaking frauds, right? So hopefully your Blade Runner or your ALX 2049 token makes you filthy gains, and hopefully it has amazing technology that could survive outages. Bought more FLR, XLM, DAG, HBAR, and Shiba recently. Okay, you're going with the Shiba play for your meme coin there. I like that, Abe. I like that. That's a good little set, little good variety right there. That's not bad. Not bad. Everything and everyone will be a token factory. Exactly, dude. Everyone's tokenized. Everything's tokenized. This is what we're asking for. This is what we're asking for, right? Unfortunately. XRP World, what's up, man? Good to see you. Guys, we got a room full of tigers here, man. XRP here, a year and a half trying to buy it. I feel like I'm done. So wait, trying to buy it? What do you mean trying to buy it? You haven't bought it? You haven't bought some XPX AM because you just given up on trying to find ways to buy it? Am I misinterpreting that? Or you are like, I've accumulated enough XPX, I'm done, right? I kind of feel like that too, man. I'm at the point where it's like, same thing with SHX. Just start proving the vision. Just start rolling out the vision. Same thing with XRP, XLM. We've been doing this for 8 to 9 years, guys, setting up our positions. And like, I'm at the point with some of, all of my bags that, I have like, I'm happy with my freaking bags on a lot of these. I'm just like, just freaking fulfill the vision now. Just freaking roll it out. Couldn't figure it out then. Bang. Bit hard. What did we... Oh, you couldn't do Pancake Swap? Couldn't just like get Solana on Coinbase, send it over to Pancake Swap, and then swap it for XPX. It was on MXC where you can get the native XPX, forever. I don't know if you have access to MXC, but it's definitely, still on there as well where you can accumulate some XPX through MXC. But I've been getting it through Pancake Swap recently just because it's a, simpler process, right? Just a little bit easier. Get Solana on Coinbase, send it over, instantly arrives to my Pancake Swap, swap it for XPX. XPX sends it to my base wallet, and then I send it to my native wallet, through the Binance smart contract address, and then just wait to swap it for the native one when the wallet allows for us to do so, right? Ortis Drain, nice. What's up, Ortis Drain? How you doing, dude? Appreciate you jumping on in. Do we see a crash like CV before everything rips, or are we going to see green, then all reds, maybe zero, in reset. Okay, so what I think is going to go down, or so far the way it seems like it's going to go down, they have to shut everything down. They have to shut it down in order to turn it on to this new system. I don't think it's going to be a progressive transition to the system. I think they literally got to turn the switch off, turn the new switch on, right? So if that is the case, then I'm thinking 2026, we get a hype cycle, our last speculative bull cycle. It's going to be an amazing speculative bull cycle. They're going to cash you out a lot out of your blue chips. They're going to give you prices that you can't ignore because you haven't seen them before. You're going to give them a good amount of your blue chip cryptos, right? And then they'll shut it down. Things are going to crash. People's accounts are going to get hacked. If you don't have your stuff on cold storage, or even if you possibly do, you have the risk of losing your freaking cryptos, right? But I think if you have it on cold storage, I think you're pretty good, right? But so I think if you have it on centralized, everything centralized is going to get tested and compromised. We're not going to be in a centralized world anymore. It's going to be full on decentralization, and that's going to be the new way. Right? So you're going to have a speculative cycle. You're going to have a bunch of celebrities releasing their meme coins. Guys, I literally said this last week, talking about meme coins and celebrities releasing their meme coins like crazy, right? Trump was just only the beginning. Melania was only the beginning, and some others, right? Now you have Bill by William Shatner releasing his. Now you have Scottie freaking Pippen releasing his ball token. Right? Get ready to just continue seeing. Remember, this is the last push of them trying to get you distracted from blue chips, from the quality cryptos, the ones that are in the deep reds or that they don't want you to think about and have very low sentiment on. This is going to be the last push to get you super distracted and FOMO into, dude, people love celebrities, right? I don't really freaking care for them, man. I see the game, right? I freaking see the game. So now I know what they do with these puppets. Right? They try to get the people to follow them because the people love these celebrities. They see themselves in them, right? Oh, I want to be like them. Oh, freaking, I'm going to get some ball. I'm going to get some Scottie Pippen coin. Oh man, look at it. It's making me gains, right? And then you still don't cash out of it, right? You still don't take profit because you just love that celebrity. Taylor Swift is going to most likely come out with a digital asset as well, right? There's going to be just a celebrity meme coin push coming. Right? And it's going to be other things. There's just going to be a ton of distractions, right? There's going to be a ton more distractions than there ever has been, pulling you away from the blue chips, right? The blue chips will run up, though. They'll run up, and you'll cash them out too early, right? You'll see XRP at maybe $10, maybe $70 XRP, right? Let's just give it a window there, right? People are going to be cashing out a ton of their XRPs that were going through the freaking craziness of, our adventures here in the past 8 years, right? They're like, finally, XRP has hit these prices. They're going to cash out a good portion of their XRP. Some of them are going to continue holding certain portions, right? But they're going to still cash out some portions. You're giving them back to the banks, right? You're giving it back to the elite. And then, bam, massive, after the peak of this bull cycle, and you've seen, like, basically all cryptos are going to run, right? Massive crash, massive global catalyst. Cyber event starts to happen. People are going to have a ton of crypto on its centralized exchanges during a bull cycle, right? So cyber event happens, centralized exchanges get wiped, and then this is what they say, oh, this is why we have our Coinbase wallet, right? This is why we have our base wallet, just in case if Coinbase gets compromised, it's just a centralized exchange. Remember that. You want to have it in your cold wallets, right? Like, they're not going to take the blame for anything for your cryptos being gone, man. They're just going to blame the hackers, right? They're going to blame whatever, the scammers, the malware virus, whatever, right? After that massive crash in 2027, early 2027, I think 2026 is just going to be a crazy year, a ton of bullishness, because it's going to be, crypto booms when there's chaos going on, right? When there's chaos around the world, right? So there's going to be stuff going on around. Crypto's going to be booming. You're going to see that meme, right? The what's it called? The hangover meme, right? Where the guys are at the craps table and everybody goes, the world's going to crap. Crypto guys right now, right? You'll see something like that, right? Just again, right? It just always repeats. People, this is why it's important to have a good memory. This is why it's important to build up your memory, because They just think you've forgotten about like rhythms and stuff, right? Patterns, right? So we'll go through a bunch of stuff in 2026. The switch is going to be, brewing for the flip. And then bam, cyber event in 2027. Transition year, right? It's going to be a transition year that's going to be a brutal bear cycle, right? Even though they're going to say blockchain is going to help save us and is going to enhance cybersecurity, right? That it's not going to happen again. A cyber event like that won't ever happen again because we're fully on blockchain. Look at the blockchains that provided decentralized recovery that continued running while things were offline, or they rebooted very quickly the moment things came back online. Or if, maybe certain portions of the globe go offline, they're still running on other portions of the globe waiting. And then bam, when they go back online, it's just like nothing ever was missed, right? So you'll have the transition year, and then around 2028, between 2028 and 2030 is when we start to see the real prices of the blue chips, the real quality cryptos. 99% will be freaking irrelevant, right? Because they just can't, they're not going to be necessary anymore, right? Everything will be tokenized. It'll be, sure, there's going to be a ton of tokens again, right? But it's going to be on the infrastructure, right, of these L1s and L0s, right? The ones that can actually provide decentralized recovery, security, right? So you'll still get, maybe meme coins are going to probably not go away. I'm just trying to say, like, a majority of them are built on systems that rely on centralized rails, and that if things go down, all those are freaking gone. All those are gone, right? If a system gets compromised, all those are freaking irrelevant and gone, right? And it's gone, right? As the South Park guy says. All right, tangent aside, I got some deep breads to jump in here with you guys. The aqua must flow. Appreciate that. Bloopity bloop. Message retracted, Base Patsy. What were you trying to say, man? I hope Ribbit Capital and Robinhood just group funded Lighter and new L2 DeFi platform on ETH. Interesting. I still like TIBBIR more than ETH. Like TIBBIR more than any L2. I'll take TIBBIR. I'm on edge about Buffett, Gates, Bezos suck. All selling major portions of their stock. They are preparing for a fire sale. Exactly, man. Yep, that's a great sign right there, Base Patsy. When the big money, for some reason, is not holding on to stocks, or, they're stepping down from companies or something like that, right? That's definitely a sign of a catalyst that's to come. So you're going to get, dude, we thought 2020 was a major one. You're going to get multiple catalysts, not only in 2026, but in 2027. Right? It's going to be like a back-to-back, like 2 catalysts in a row, right? You're going to have your catalyst that, maybe it's trade war or, God forbid, civil war and stuff like that, right? Trying to manifest a positive future. I believe in the outcome of humanity. I believe in humankind. I believe that we're going to survive through whatever darkness happens, right? But they're going to test us, right? That's just going to be what it is. That's, that's what evil freaking does, man, because they're just so sad that they're temporary, and that they're not eternal, and they're not pure, that they just have to F with us, right? They have to F with the ones that are pure, the ones that recognize that they are eternal, that they're freaking light, right? That their light is going to always shine, their love is going to always shine, no matter what, right? They freaking hate that, man. So they're just going to try to put us through tests, trying to get us to freaking fight each other, right? Fight each other over drops, right? So you're going to have a catalyst in 2026, and probably another catalyst that happens in 2027, and then everybody's going to say, either this administration is going to look like the savior of these catalysts, or they're going to be the biggest reason why we move over to a new administration, and it's just going to be, complete, what's it called? Complete, 0 to 100 belief in that new administration. Like, because of course, people always just want something new. Thank God we're just not into that era anymore, right? It's just people. We just they keep finding ways for us to just keep bouncing back and forth between, 2 things, right? Red and blue, red and blue. They just keep having you going in and out, man. They just find great ways to do it. What's up, Moonfeather? How you doing? Appreciate you. Go gold panning 2027, gold 10,000 an ounce. Dude, yeah. That's why we talked. If you look at any of our, if you go to our video section on our channel, we have a ton of collage, I guess, or what's it called? Yeah, I would just say collage videos, right? videos that were stitched together with movies and stuff like that. And we showed in one of them the gold story, right? The race for gold. It's all about gold, right? It's always been about gold. How awesome, how funny is the FUD right now for gold right now, you guys? You got Brian Armstrong and CZ Binance, two of the biggest, obviously red and blue, right? You got your cool and warm colors. Both sides saying Bitcoin is better than gold. Gold is irrelevant. Tokenization and crypto is way more important than gold. All the FUD from the major, crypto influences on gold. They're helping out their bank buddies, right? You remember CZ with his dark hooded Time magazine cover or, cover that he had, right? He's part of the secret billionaire club. They literally tell you on the freaking magazine, right? How hilarious, man. How hilarious that people, I can't believe that people think he's like doing good for man, right? That CZ is doing good for mankind. He obviously went through a shaming ritual. We called it out when it happened, right? SBF was the opposite and CZ was the hero, right? They always go in different directions. And CZ gets the pardon, right? CZ is viewed as a hero of crypto, as a light for crypto. Everybody freaking loves him. Everybody's buying his Aster coin, and I'm sure Aster is going to do fantastic because he went, dude, once you go through a shaming ritual like this where you sink to the bottom, which isn't much, he still had billions of dollars. He was in a billionaire prison, right? Right? You sink to the bottom and then you freaking show, like you endure it, and then bam, they give you like just future prosperity, right? You just rise and rise and rise from here. So CZ is going to definitely have a big presence in this future. But once again, I digress. They're doing a great job of pushing people away from precious metals and gold. Those things are going to get tokenized, right? Judy Shelton, what did she say back in the day? Yeah, maybe we do go back to a gold standard, but in a cryptocurrency sort of way, right? So not talking about gold getting pegged to fiat cash anymore. We're going to go for gold being pegged to the blockchain, right? And so they're doing a great job distracting. Dude, you got two of the major players. You got Brian Armstrong and Coinbase, right? Which people, dude, they get so bullish when Brian Armstrong speaks and he talks so positively about crypto and all this type of stuff, right? Guys, they don't care about us. Those dudes have no care about us. They're part of the freaking club. If you're getting mass attention at scale, right? If you're on the TV and everybody in the world sees you, or everything you're saying or tweeting is getting quoted and everybody in the world has exposure to it, right? That's because they allowed it to happen. That's because they're freaking they're puppets that are part of the freaking, club, right? They wonder why we're freaking shadow banned, by the way. They wonder why we're freaking shadow banned. Oh, man. Okay, let's get into some deep reds. Let's keep it light here. The light will shine regardless, man, because we have, a blue foundation here that's going to do amazing stuff. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to all of y'all. But yeah, in that video that it's all about gold, the clip is, dude, I kid you not, it is from the 2018 or 2019 Oscars, before 2020 happened. And in that Oscars clip, it literally said, the race for gold is on. They're not talking about the gold Oscar. They were telling you the subliminal right in front of your freaking face, right? The race for gold is on, right? We have that video in our video section if you guys want to check it out. All those videos are still relevant today. There's great information in those videos if you guys ever want to check those out. And they're fun and entertaining. And we got little movie clips in between them, right? Not as good as Notorious XRP. Notorious XRP is the freaking OG and the freaking man, right? But, those videos are still definitely very informative and relevant. Please tell me how to buy ALX 2049 tokens during the pre-sale. Yo, Joshua, are we scamming ALX 2049? Are we coming in with good vibes or bad vibes, man? Are we bringing in spamming vibes and we're just going to only talk about it? Like, this is a crypto I don't know about. So how can I tell you how to buy it? How can I tell you to talk about it? How can I tell you how to buy a crypto that's on pre-sale? If you mention this one more time, I'm sure somebody in the blue wrenches is going to be like, yeah, he's a freaking scammer. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be freaking just timed out for like thousands upon thousands of seconds, man, which is freaking hours, right? I don't know if you want that. Maybe we can bring up, another digital asset that we like so we know that you're not a bot, right? Let's see. Let's see. I mean, your next comment, Joshua, is on the line right now. Your next comment is literally like, be very, watch out. I'll never tell you what to do, but if we bring up a little bit more of this ALX 2049, then I'm thinking, and we're just all you have to do is even bring up one different crypto, right? That's all you have to do, right? Just bring up another crypto that you like, right? Just so we know you're not freaking scamming, dude. Turple Nurple, what's up, XR Pisces? Good to see you. All right, guys, let's jump into some deep reds because I know that's what everybody's here for. They're not here for me to like just ramble and go on tangents all the freaking time. All right, here we go. We got Aqua at 0006, right? Dude, the scammers don't know what to do when they come into a room full of blue wrenches. They have no clue what to do, man. They have no clue what to do. I'm happy we have an awesome blue foundation here. So we still got Aqua at 0006, right? No, Mix. I didn't know your name was Joshua. There's literally a dude named Joshua, right? There's literally a dude named Joshua in the chat talking about a crypto who has already bought. Oh my God. He came in as a different name. He changed his account and came in as a different name. Do you guys see this? This is hilarious, man. So Herman and Joshua, Blue Foundation, you guys know what to do. You guys know what to do. All right. Aqua. Yeah, no. He saw me call him out as Joshua. So instead of posting as Joshua, he switched it to Herman, right? So now we got to make sure both Joshua and Herman are completely like timed out for, the remainder of, no, even more than 300 seconds, Abe. It needs to be thousands, man. We can't have this coming back. Dude, I get scam comments all the time on the videos now. They're trying hard, right? I don't even know why they would want to scam my channel. I have zero reach. The algorithm doesn't give us anything here, dude. Like, why would scammers want to come on here? It makes no sense. We have no reach. Go to the channels that have like hundreds of thousands of freaking followers, if anything, right? All right, here we go. So Aqua at 0006, the Aqua must flow. XLM ecosystems being undervalued and underappreciated. Aqua is definitely one of those assets, the liquidity management layer of the XLM ecosystem. If we missed out on 000 SHX, I'm not missing out on 0006 Aqua. Right? We've seen Aqua break out of the 000s before. It's had its retracement. The XLM ecosystem is just been getting beaten to death, right? So things like Aqua, XRF, BLND, YBX, Dogstar even, right? Any freaking crypto really in the XLM ecosystem is highly undervalued. Cosmos ecosystem, we're going to go over some of those cryptos as well. But Aqua right now at 0006 to start off. The Aqua must flow. DRGN, Dragon Chain, is still at a freaking penny, you guys, at a 433 million supply, right? I understand it kind of went up a little bit, but it had a significant dip one day to 008, and then it got picked back up to a penny, right? So the reason it looks like it went down was because of the delisting from Gate, right? Apparently it's still on Gate and then you can accumulate on Gate, but it's looking like it's getting delisted from there. But despite that FUD, people bought that dip, dude. They saw 008, they went to Uniswap and they freaking bought that dip up, right? I was one of them, but I'm sure there was a ton of other people that saw that as well that, are freaking not sleeping on the Blue Dragon. Right? They're not sleeping on the Blue Dragon. You know what a Blue Dragon does? It protects treasure, right? They want to FUD you out, right? They want to FUD you out of this enterprise-ready digital asset, this Disney open source project. They're trying so hard to make it they're making it difficult to get, and they're making it difficult to have patience for, right? But their NFT marketplace, Dracaria, is taking off, is doing good. Right? People are buying dragon eggs, right? They're hatching their dragons, right? We got XTZ. Tezos is one of the less spoken of X cryptos, and it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It is a one-of-a-kind crypto, high-end security. It is a self-amending blockchain, which sets it apart from the rest. There's no other cryptos that have that natively in their blockchain. XTZ at 58 cents, negative 19% down, 1 billion supply. This is kind of an honorable mention. We're going from the shallow ends of the deep reds, but I just feel like we have to talk about XTZ because it's just too undervalued here. I love this crypto. Like, I think it's going above $1 again, right? So we're at 58 cents now. We could set up our positions. We could stake our Tezos, right? Kathleen Brightman and her husband, right? It was a male and female creator, right? You got your Adam and Eve who created the freaking Tezos blockchain right here, and they've been quiet. They have been hush, hush, right? The quieter a project gets, the more real it is, right? The more real it freaking is. And they're doing a good job of making you not think whatsoever about Tezos, even though there's uranium that's been trading on the blockchain for a whole year now when they released it. They have real estate on that freaking blockchain. It's an X crypto. It is blue. The future is freaking blue. XTZ just too undervalued in my opinion. And hey, if you're afraid to talk about Tezos, you're afraid to talk about XTZ, I'm not afraid to talk about it, right? I love talking about the cryptos that everybody's afraid of, right? Because that just means we're getting very, very close to peak fear, very, very close to reds across the board, right? One day's reds is another day's greens, right? And right here, XTZ is in the reds. Nobody talks about this crypto. Have you noticed that when the cryptos pump on CT, like Nano, we talked about Nano, talked about Filecoin, talked about Zcash, talked about Dash, all those cryptos have pumped, talked about ICP in the deep reds, all those cryptos in the deep reds, all of a sudden, people are talking about it. Dude, I mute everybody. I've been on a muting spree. If you're talking about filthy gains from these cryptos, you're not helping me none. You're not helping me none. I need quality information about cryptos that haven't made filthy gains. I don't want to see your freaking argument by it still has more juice left in the tank. I don't care about, oh, but it still has so much more juice, G. It still has more juice to go. Don't sleep on it, bro. We talked about it in the deep reds. We acquired it in the deep reds. We are moving on. It is a strict curriculum here. We are ninjas. We are ninjas. All right. We want dead cryptos. We want the deep reds. I'm making it easy for myself. I'm trying to set up, okay, it's red across the board. The moment it turns green, I have options, right? I'm not here to jump in on something that already pumped 50% in the past 7 days, 100% in the past 7 days, right? Meet me in the deep reds, right? And then we'll talk about it. What about AMP token, AMP? AMP is an interesting crypto. It did deal with the SEC. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if I'm not the biggest fan of it, that means it's going to do great things, Quentin Miller, right? I'm just not, there's other cryptos that I got my eye on over AMP, right? Especially the X cryptos, especially blue cryptos, especially, but AMP can do amazing things, man. Still got some AMP from when it was Flexa back in the day, right? So hopefully AMP does some good stuff. Don't want to down talk any crypto because in this next bull cycle, every crypto is going to be freaking running. Right? So AMP, hopefully it makes you some filthy gains and takes you to the promised land, man. I certainly hope so. I love that it, was able to deal with the SEC and was not declared a security or anything like that, right? Just the SEC removing the case. So that's very bullish. That's very exciting. But yeah, there's other factors to take into consideration with AMP. Can it still run while it's, things go offline, right? This is what has been one of my major focus in terms of research is like when things go offline, what is still running or what can reboot very quickly and be as if it never went off, right? That's when you can see those very, very technically resilient and forward-looking projects that are taking into account a globe of volume, right? A globe of usage, right? IOTA is one of those. XPX is one of those. XRPL is one of those. Hedera is one of those. Algorand is one of those. Cardano is one of those, right? Hell, I found out the other day, HOLO chain is apparently one of those. How funny is that? HOLO chain, if there was a blackout or a complete shutdown, HOLO chain would still be doing its thing, right? How lovely is that? How do you feel about Flare at the current price? I'm stacking heavy. I love FLR. I just love that FLR loves XRP more, right? The fact that FLR loves talking about XRP so much just makes me more bullish on XRP and not so much on FLR. I do love FLR as a DeFi crypto. I think FLR is going to do some filthy things, especially once they bring on more F assets. And at a penny, hell yeah, dude. Getting thousands of FLR at a freaking penny, right? You know, just thousands of those cryptos, right? Or even having 1,000, making it work for me and just printing out FLR. But I just love how much they talk about XRP, right? That just means XRP is a freaking big deal. Much bigger deal. When you have SHX and Flare within like the same couple of weeks referencing things about how awesome XRP is, it just makes me super bullish on XRP, right? Just makes me want to accumulate whole numbers of XRP while we still got it. And then I'll earn drops. And then I'll put some into Flare later once XRP is just the freaking real deal Holyfield. You know, definitely have some Flare from the airdrops, right? Making that work for me. But, you know, there's just always been, there's some interesting stuff with that. It's a pretty interesting crypto, but hey, if you're stacking heavy on it, I'm not trying to down talk on it. I'm just saying they talk a lot about XRP, man. Like, educate us about FLR and SGB. Tell us what those are going to be doing. How, you know, not only how they benefit XRP, but how they're going to benefit all of crypto, right? Let's start talking about the digital assets that you do have right under your umbrella, right? And maybe they were told to shut up. Maybe they were told to sign NDAs. Hey, you could talk about other digital assets. You just can't talk too much about your FLR and SGB. You know how to play the game, right? Buy NFTs, Fortnite chills. Hey, man, I'm with you there, dude. I'm with you there. I freaking think NFTs are going to be making a major comeback without a doubt. And tokens, digital assets, are NFTs. So we're definitely owning some NFTs. I got little dragon chain dragon eggs, right? I think those are going to be booming, right? But yeah, I like FLR. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to down talk it, but I'm just like, why are they talking so much about XRP and not their own freaking product? Like, talk about how awesome your freaking product is, right? We get how great, dude, we've done our research on XRP, Hugo. We've done our research. The XRP community knows enough about freaking XRP. Let's talk about FLR and SGB, right? SGB is the next man up here, actually, on our deep reds. Negative 47% down. 003 for SGB right now. Everything's got to go through SGB before it goes through to Flare, right? So SGB is the Kusama to Flare's Polkadot right here. Speaking of Kusama and Polkadot, those are deep reds as well. But SGB at 003, negative 47% down, 19 billion supply, right? RSR at 004, negative 40% down, 100 billion supply. Reserve rights, somebody was asking about it earlier. Dude, this crypto's looking pretty undervalued at 004. If we can get, we can get 4,000 of these, right? I think for what? $5, right? Something like that. That's pretty freaking crazy, dude. Maybe it's $50. I might be misinterpreting that, but still, the fact that we can get 1,000 of these cryptos and just see what ends up happening and let it prove. Once again, I have nothing to prove to these projects. These projects got to prove themselves to me, right? Start fulfilling your vision. Right? If you have such a grand vision, 1,000 is going to be more. 1,000 of these tokens will be more than enough because people are going to be fighting for drops of how awesome your technology is. Right? Fortnite chills. Appreciate you coming on and telling us what to do. I'll never tell you what to do, but I appreciate you telling us what to do and telling everybody in the Blue Foundation what to do. If there's any other things that we should do, please, feel free if you'd like. I love the bullishness on NFTs. My man, definitely just focused on deep reds, though, focused on tokens that are NFTs, basically, or can run NFTs in their ecosystem, right? Focused on deep reds. I'm focused on low sentiment cryptos. NFTs are very low sentiment, so you're definitely got the eye of the tiger there, without a doubt, Fortnite. Buy now, not later. Okay, hey, thanks for all the exclamation points. I can see the passion and excitement, my man. Yeah, NFTs are going to definitely do their thing, dude. I'm not in disagreements with you, so I hope you don't think that I'm disagreeing with you, man. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. If you don't agree, that's okay, right? We can disagree and still live happy lives in this world, right? You could still be doing what you're doing and make sick profits and see the promised land. How wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? And you don't even have to come back and say, I told you so, because that's like kind of lower energy stuff, right? Doing the I told you stuff is freaking low energy type of stuff. You can just go live your life happily, man, being filthy rich, right? You don't have to, go on a revenge tour telling everybody I told you so, right? I get you. I get you're hyped. I get you, bro. I get you. You know what's wonderful? Your beard. Appreciate you, Ford Ranger. Appreciate you, man. Financial NFTs. Yeah, I'm buying the financial NFTs. I'm buying the financial backbone NFTs. I hope that's good enough for you, man. I hope you accept. I hope you accept that. D Curry, I think that's a big sleeper. And RSR, nice dude. Yeah, I mean, they try to hide these sleepers in the deep reds and try to keep them quiet, right? Revenge Tour 2026. Let's go, dude. Yeah, hey, man, we can have a chance for a revenge tour ourselves, man. Blue Foundation is setting themselves up pretty well for an awesome 2026. What's up, Legendary? Dude, Legendary, shout out to you, man. Love seeing that little Riddler Green Giant logo right there next to you, man. He's gone to Riddler status. That's freaking awesome. Shout out to you, Legendary. Good to see you again, bud. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully your Blue Castle has just gotten bigger. BTC is 100. Is it at 180K right now, or you're predicting 180K? If you're predicting 180K, that's going to be freaking filthy, man. I mean, I'm happy I don't own BTC because I like bigger gains than that. So I'll be in the alts that'll follow BTC, make me more bigger gains. And then maybe I get some BTC later after, you know, some of these crypto make me millions. I can maybe buy a BTC finally and just have fun. Have fun. Opening band for Revenge Tour 2026. I told you so. The opening song, right? That's the opening song. I Told You So by Blue Foundation. I Told You So by TIBBIR Patsy. Another month, Jolly G. 46 months. Dude, is that really how long this journey has been since we started like our memberships? 46 months since memberships open. Jesus, that's only like 3 years. So you're telling me there was like 7 years where we had no memberships? That's freaking nuts. All right, we got to keep going in the deep reds, guys. We're getting close to our hour here, and I had to stream early because, you know, I only could put in an hour. So I got to go through these deep reds really quick. I hope you guys understand. If you guys got any last minute questions or anything like that, or statements, you know, Fortnite chills, I respect the bullishness and the hyped. Man, I just, you know, I get it. I understand. We love the bullishness and excitement without a doubt. But if anybody's got any more last minute questions or, you know, want to suggest something to the Blue Crew or the Blue Foundation, you know, feel free. Here we go. So I'm just going to go from the bottom up to the top here. So Aqua 0006, Dragon Chain at a penny, XTZ at 58 cents, negative 19% down, 1 billion supply. Mana at 22 cents, negative 38% down, 2.8 billion supply. Found out an interesting little tidbit. Tammy Camp, right? Freaking Legendary's girl right here. The queen of the Blue Castle, right? Tammy Camp was an early investor in Decentraland and Mana. Mana is 22 cents now. That had an all-time high at $5. You know how I love these metaverse cryptos while the metaverse narrative is very, very low, right? Metaverse is going to come back around. Guys, I saw like 5 kids yesterday at separate times obsessing over Roblox. I was like, damn, dude, if they ever make a Blocks token that is a digital, you know, they have a token in that game. But if that ever became a crypto, I am buying a ton and just hodling for life because freaking nostalgia would kick in for these kids when they're teenagers and adults. And they'll be like, oh, dude, let me get some of that Blocks, man. I had so much fun playing that when I was a kid, right? Dude, the new social media for these children is Metaverse. That's the new social media. They interact with each other through it, right? Instagram, Facebook, this is old news. This is old stuff. This is old social media, man, right? It's going to be all about interacting through the metaverse now with your friends and your buddies. They are glued to these freaking screens, dude. They are obsessed with it. They're having better times hanging out with their friends through Roblox than they do in real life. It's crazy what these new generations are coming up. Dude, and since they're so familiar with tech and computers, you're going to have a ton of them that are going to grow up to be hackers, right? You're going to have a ton of them that are going to be growing. Yeah, they love TikTok, right? They love TikTok. For sure, Fortnite chills. For sure. And Roblox. Yeah, they love that crap, right? They love the mesh of those two, right? They love the mesh of those two. Who's better, Daniel Dix or Tammy? Dude, Tammy, man. Tammy. Hey, I kind of have a thing for Kathleen Brightman from XTZ, man. I like a little girl, you know, a woman with glasses like that, right? Who freaking created a blockchain. That's pretty hot. Right? I used to have a thing for Catherine Coley, right? From BNB and Binance, man. Kindergartners in Japan are now on VRs. Yeah. I mean, dude, that's just, Hey, they don't go to amusement parks anymore to ride roller coasters. They put a VR headset on and they sit on a machine that makes them feel like they're on a roller coaster. Just like when back in the day when I was a kid, you would go into a massive van car that has a big projected screen on there and you just sit next to people like, hey, remember Star Tours? Right? That stuff is a thing. That's old age. You put the freaking VR goggles on now. You get to have the whole perspective, look around, right? You're not just seeing black around a box. You are in the box, right? It's freaking crazy, dude. So, hey, man, these guys, they're going to get so frustrated, right? When they don't have that dopamine, like when the internet outage happens and it's maybe like 10 days of darkness or whatever they've been foreshadowing, right? These people are going to they're going to get so angry because they haven't built up any human interactions. They don't know how to interact with humans. So they'll get pissed and lash out, freaking just, attack, their fellow man because they just don't know how to communicate themselves. They never train themselves how. And then, yeah, when GTA 6 comes along, it's game over. It's game over. We've lost everybody. Now everybody's dude, GTA 6. Why is it taking so long for GTA 6? GTA Rockstar, guys, these tangents are more important than the deep reds right now. I'm so sorry for not really like focusing on the deep reds as much, but like there's just a lot of things that need to be said. And I'm just feeling the vibe, right? I'm just trying to channel what I'm feeling right here. GTA 6 is going to be the Roblox for the adults, right? GTA 5 is already kind of like that, but GTA 6 will be the Roblox for adults, and you'll be actually able to use actual money through this freaking platform. Through this, thing, people are going to be obsessed with it, right? You're going to be so uncool for not playing GTA 6 or being on GTA 6. Hell, they're going to be asking you, hey, you just want to hang out through GTA 6, man? Like, I can't really hang out tonight, but you want to just do this if you have friends who are gamers, right? And you'll just be like, yeah, sorry, man. I'm trying not to be part of the slave system, right? And they'll just be like, dude, what are you talking about? Okay, whatever. I'm just going to play GTA 6. And then, they just stay plugged in. They start getting more pale. They start looking like vampires and zombies, right? They start acting like zombies. They start acting like Idiocracy. Oh, what? You said I'm pale? Man, dude, I take that, I'm offended by that, dude. You're a freaking asshole. Yo, screw you, man. And then they start attacking you, right? Like, it's happening now with GTA 5. Exactly, Base Patsy. And dude, once GTA 6 comes along and goes to that freaking next level, right? It's just game over, dude. You're gonna see empty streets. You're gonna see empty streets, man. Dude, today's kids, there's something going on. Somebody mentioned Clown World. Clowns are dude. Killer Clowns from Outer Space has gotten a revival. And the funny thing is, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is one of the biggest subliminal F movies that are out there. They try to present it as like a campy, funny horror film, but really they're just telling you everything that's really going on, right? Hence why this obsession with clowns is even happening. Kids are dressing up. I saw so many kids dressed up as killer clowns or freaking It, right? The It guy, right? These kids don't understand what they're really doing. They don't, they don't take death very seriously, right? They don't think this stuff is real, right? Or relevant, right? So they love to joke about it or dress up at it. They think it's cool. Hell, it's a way for them to prove that they're a man or very thick-skinned, right? Oh, this doesn't scare me. No, this doesn't scare me, right? That type of stuff. Like, I don't know what kids are watching on YouTube or little clips, but apparently Killer Clowns from Outer Space is like part of that, right? You just, oh man. Wow. It's almost too frightening, dude. I missed the 2 a.m. live last night. That's crazy. You could tell a real clown by his shoes. There you go. Oh yeah, LA is just full of them, man. Clown culture in LA is scary right now. There's a lot of people, dude. People talk so and I have a different viewpoint on it. So when I hear other people's viewpoints, it's like, yeah, oh yeah, clowns are so awesome and they're so cool. They're very artistic. It's a very artsy type of thing, right? Man, they just have people biting all this stuff up, dude. They have people just eating it all up. This perspective, it's nuts, man. The killer clowns are here from outer space. Freaking crazy. All right, deep reds continuing on. RSR 004 negative 40% down, 100 billion supply. SGB 003 Yeah, insane clown posse, right? Negative 47% down, 19 billion. Hell, Welcome Back to Derry is on on HBO now, right? More and more clown stuff coming out. What's that one movie that got Terrifier, right? Terrifier led the box office at some point this year, right? Freaking killer clown. AVAX, $16.94, negative 50% down, 720 million supply. SNX at 78 cents, negative 50% down, 300. I mean, it's interesting. Like, why have clowns, like, throughout all ages, been able to be, like, kind of outside of society? It's because they're freaking aliens, right? Killer clowns from outer space, man. They've been able to coexist with royalty and even critique royalty, and royalty actually values their freaking opinions, right? Like, there's something going on. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they freaking do look like clowns, man. Like, these freaking aliens actually look like clowns. It's freaking nuts. It's such a bizarre image, the image of a clown, to begin with. It's a very weird looking thing, right? Insane. What's up, XRP Pisces? What's up, man? Me no like clown. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the court jester. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, right? How come they have, like, they can just, you know, they're the only ones who are able to critique the king. And why is that? Because the king freaking knows that he's an extraterrestrial. The king knows that this thing is otherworldly, right? Okay, we got Volta, which used to be EOS. A is the letter A now at 27 cents. Negative 50% down, 2 billion supply. We got SNX in the Ethereum ecosystem, 78 cents, negative 50% down, 343 million supply. Jasmy at 009, negative 55% down, 50 billion supply. STG, Stargate in the Cosmos ecosystem, 13 cents, negative 57% down, 1 billion supply. Good following on X as well. Decentralized Recovery Alliance following them. I love that the Decentralized Recovery Alliance follows Cosmos ecosystem projects. That goes to show that the Cosmos ecosystem is going to probably be a member, right? Some of these digital assets in that ecosystem are going to join the Decentralized Recovery Alliance, right? ZRO, Layer Zero, $1.55. Dude, they just had a stellar, just gave huge kudos to Layer Zero and their collaboration. So ZRO is $1.55, negative 57% down, 1 billion supply. What's up, JC? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you. CXB thoughts? I'll check it out. Damn, somebody mentioned CXB just last night, actually, and I got to get to it. I got to get to it on CXB. I'll try to get to it in the next couple of streams or so. Just, yeah, appreciate y'all. Okay, so Jasmy at 009, negative 55% down, 50 billion supply. Mobile and Helium, these two, man, you guys know I'm getting into the Internet of Things, Internet of Sensors, right? And I checked out Nadix. Nadix is an interesting one, and thank gosh somebody shouted that out while it was read across the board. Nadix is definitely an interesting one in terms of the Internet of Things, Internet of, items, sensors. Mobiles at 0003, negative 60% down, 58 billion supply. You got HNT Helium at $2.34, negative 60% down, 223 million supply, right? And then we got PAC at 1 penny, negative 64% down, 1 billion supply. Hashpack, part of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance, big part of the HBAR ecosystem. That's one of the undervalued cryptos in the HBAR ecosystem. You earn Hashpack rewards for every transaction you use on that wallet, right? Which is freaking awesome. XPNet, followed by HBAR, Casper, VeChain, Multiverse X. So 2 members of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance following this cross NFT platform. Oh, look at that, Fortnite. Look at that, Fortnite chills. XPNet being a cross interoperable NFT platform, 0004, negative 68% down, 1 billion supply, has blockchains integrated into its platform. Injective, part of the Cosmos ecosystem, $7.29, negative 69% down, 100 million supply. IOTX at a penny, negative 74% down, 9.4 billion supply. Internet of Things type of crypto, has working sensors. Pyth. Pyth is the crypto from yesterday that I shouted out and said everybody follows them. Everybody follows this freaking crypto, and I mean everybody follows Pyth. PYTH. Pyth is at 10 cents. It does have some esoteric symbolism in its logo, so that's interesting. 10 cents, negative 75% down, 10 billion supply. This is a deep red now. We have been waiting for Pyth to get into the deep reds. It is now here. It is in the deep reds. W, Wormhole is at 6 cents. Works with Securitize and Algorand, negative 75% down, 10 billion supply. Index Coop, or Index, INDEX. Owl logo, black and white owl logo. We know how they love their owls. 80 cents, 10 million supply. I repeat, a 10 million supply at 80 cents, negative 77% down. Having 10 of these could possibly be freaking life-changing. AXL at Axelar at 15 cents, going down to the 15-cent range again. Maybe we get 8-cent Axelar, but I'm still liking entry points here for AXL at negative 79% down, 1.1 billion supply for the bridge of bridges. IXO, Internet of Impacts, the blue butterfly at 003, negative 80% down, 160 million supply. AKT, the decentralized cloud in the Cosmos ecosystem, 61 cents, negative 81% down, 388 million supply. XX Network at a penny, negative 83% down, 1 billion supply. Deep red of 2025 for XX Network. VRA at 0005, negative 84% down, 10.3 billion supply for the advertising agency infrastructure network. Rune, Thorchain is at 77 cents, negative 86% down, 500 million supply. DEAI, Layers 01 Labs is what it's called, but it's DEAI at 2 cents, negative 95% down. Ocean Protocol, Aptos, Rose, Near Protocol, NVIDIA, Google are on their website, and they're part of the NVIDIA incubator program at 2 cents, 1 billion supply. We got A0 at the bottom of the pit yet again for A0 at a penny, 520 million supply, negative 96% down for this Digital Euro Association member. Link. Yeah, Link is looking like the premier oracle. There's also XRF in the XLM ecosystem. That is the native oracle for XLM's ecosystem there. But yeah, Chainlink is the grand master of the oracle system, without a doubt. Chainlink is going to for sure be playing a huge part in this future. Velo currently at 006. Thanks for that heads up right there. XR Pisces. Appreciate everybody here. Guys, I got to be heading on out. It was an awesome hour with you guys, as always. Oh, Ski Mask Citizen, I hope you can rewind back if you guys are just jumping in now. We had a hell of a stream. Good show, as always, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow at around 3:30 p.m. PST. We try to stream daily here. In the description below, there's ways to help us. Either our Ember app referral, where you can mine Satoshis with us, our Swash, where you can mine, you can mine Swash for navigating the internet, and then of course our Coinbase ID if anybody wants to send us little coffee monies of digital assets. I am so grateful, as always, guys. Thank you, Blue Foundation. Thank you, Green Giants. And thank you, Deep Red Alliance. The future is distributed ledger technology, and the future is bright. Our future is bright. We got the golden eyes, and we keep it crypto. I'm going to keep trying if you guys keep trying. I'll see you guys in the Blue Castle. Much love. Adios.